Microphone on. Okay, check, 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 check. We're chilling. We're going to double check everything. Nice to see y'all. Nice to see all of the new visitors. Let me double check that my audio is okay here, and then I'll get to the rambling. I don't mind this holding the mic strat. My my microphone arm broke as soon as I was getting back into it. It's been a few months since I got back on this bandwagon, you know what I mean? So, oh, and I forget that I've been monetized now, so you get ads on the YouTube joining, eh? Which, hey, I'm not going to complain about. That's beneficial to your boy. So the gain's a little too high, eh? Oh, and the mic's so loud. That's interesting. All right. That's good because I'm on full volume. So it's good if I turn it down. All right. Okay, we're set. We set. Yeah, it's really good, actually. If anything, I can turn the music up just a tiny bit. All right. So let's take this out of my ear. So, it's been, I've had a crazy start to 2026, so I've been a little behind. I've been a little behind on my objectives, all right, y'all? It's been literally probably 2 months, maybe 3 months since I started streaming. So, since I stopped streaming, Jesus. So I do apologize. You'll get a little bit of the rustiness. You'll get a little bit of the rustiness just because I am so out of goddamn practice. But it's all part of the bloody workflow, right? So I ain't gonna get self-conscious about it. What's up, Tara? What's up, Tara? How you doing? Oh, I'm seeing where I have one error here. I need to change the window to what we are actually looking at today. There we go. There we go. And then we got number 2 at the top here. Got to set up both windows. So I am simulcasting. I'm on Twitch, I'm on Kick, I'm on YouTube, and then I'm doing a YouTube vertical stream and a horizontal stream. So this was already new tech before I took my break, and it's a little bit more to manage as we go along. But it does provide a bit more entertainment value. I love this setup that I was able to generate throughout the process. It's a lot to manage. It always reminds me of like the serious attention capabilities it takes to run these auction live streams, because I gotta bounce around a billion screens. And shout out to Afro. Hi Tara, nice to meet you as well. Thank you, Afro. I be seeing you doing the simulcasting on Instagram, and I'm curious. You got to be doing the OBS one, but it's all good, bro. I'm about to get back to all my messages. I've been a bit of a hermit because of all the unfortunate life stuff that's happened in my life for the past 2026, the beginning. So yeah, I got you. We'll be in touch, but you've been on my mind a lot. I've been wanting to reach out, so it's good to see you doing your thing too as well. I see your little quotes. I see your little motivational quotes. They be helping me out. I ain't gonna lie. And it looks like, see, even you chatting, I'm starting to realize it looks like I need to adjust my chat a little bit here, eh? And that will be the last tinkering, and I'll do my intro otherwise. So this guy needs a refresh. We're gonna refresh this. Yeah, Afro out. Shout to Afro. Long time supporter. Long time. Homie. There we go. I like the setup. Respect, bless, big bless, God bless, all that fun stuff. Tara, where are you located at? You in Toronto? You in Ontario? You a Canadian? You American? Where are you from? When we're looking at this, so summary for Tara and anyone who's new here. My name's Bailey, sometimes goes by Bebe, and I operate a reselling hustle and a warehouse. So we do estate clearances and downsizing services for clients who may have unfortunately had someone pass away, or they're looking to move on to the next stage of their life. And part of that process is understanding how to deal with all the crap that they accumulate, right? Whether it's a high-end piece of furniture or it's something that is it's a blender or a whole house full of like pots and pans. And through that, me and my business partner, Patty, who won't be here today, unfortunately, have established this auction house that is a very interesting combination of online sales and in-person networking that allows us to be able to find new homes for these products. So what we call it is ethical junk removal, which I think is an apt description because we're not trying to get rich off this process. You will see if you tune in for the entire stream today, this will be one of our lower performing auctions, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. The whole point of this is to make sure that they find good homes, right? We're not necessarily trying to extract as much profit out of these pieces as, in contrast, we're trying to actually make sure that it just doesn't go to the dump. Because even when we have to do these removal processes, man, sometimes it's so defeating that you have to fill a dumpster full of furniture that could have been used by someone, but a donation center isn't going to take it. And then if we were to take it, you're going to pay us to take it, and it's just going to end up, you're going to get $2, $10. It ain't going to be as profitable as you want. So when we're doing this auction today, this one, it's been a tumultuous 2026 start for both me and my business partner, so we're keeping it a little lax. This one was just literally, we threw it up so that we can get product out the goddamn door. Excuse those people who don't like that saying, out the door, you know what I mean? But shout out to Inf. We got I Am Infinite on the Twitch. Again, I do simulcast, so I'm on Twitch, YouTube, Kick, all the platforms. And I'm enjoying this. I got Caster Lab set up to do the split chat, so ideally y'all can see what different platforms everyone's coming from. The auction does start closing at 7 p.m. Amp asked how I'm doing, and I'm doing good. I'm doing good. My biggest flaw is like I did the right processes of like I had a heavy beginning to the year. I don't want to dive into it too much. I want to dive into it in a more personal stream when I'm not trying to focus on the auction. But my grandmother, the big inspiration to my entire business, the fact that I called my business Grandma's Dead Stock, unfortunately passed away just like a day or two before the New Year's. So I did the healthy thing, took a week or two off, was like, okay, let's do the healthy thing. We're not going to just put our head into the iron. We're gonna step back. We're gonna process the emotions, and then I caught that strain of like the flu / possible COVID that everyone had, and I got sick for an entire week and had to take another half a week off of that. So I started like my entire year was almost like 3 fucking weeks off, bro. So I'm behind on everything, and that's why I'm like a month behind on just communicating with folks, because I've been trying to juggle that. Plus, I got a new part-time job, which is a lovely experience, which I can't complain about. It's just like, holy crap. Okay, so I'm juggling a whole bunch. I know I'm like miles behind everything that needs to be done, and it's so hard to just sit there and text for 4 hours. You know what I mean? Gathered that much, man. RIP Grandma Fran. She is a legend to all of us who have tuned into the streams. Really a bundle of joy in class. For real, Inf. And it really, it's heartwarming that you say that. And it's tricky to me. It's definitely very tricky because need to figure out how to make content out of it while not being exploitative of what she contributed. You know what I mean? She did a lot for setting up my business and for bringing in views too. So I would love to go back through all those interviews that I did. I have to do a visit in March, and I support the fam and set up the restaurant for what its future plans are. But it's like, I want to do it in a way that isn't exhausting to myself, but isn't exploitative of what she presented. You know what I'm saying? For sure, bro, you got a lot on your plate, but glad to see you making a comeback. She had a lot of wisdom to share with the added humor. Absolute legend, for real. For real. And the community thought so. So my job, I'll probably make some like TikToks and shorts out of it, so that it's my chatbot. I'm watching this chatbot. My restream bot, my chatbot doesn't want to refresh regularly, which will be an issue for the future, but we can worry about that later. She was, and again, you love seeing the reels drop. I've still got a backlog. That I got to get to. There's probably about 5 to 6 more. And then on top of that, when I'm done that, I'm going to go back through the interviews that I did with her and make either a long format YouTube video as well as pull the TikToks. But first, timing. I'll try to get my pops in because my pops has some similar levels of knowledge and wacky life experience. And I think that's something that could be valuable. But given the trauma of everything we went through, I'm not going to start it in March. I have to go out for June again for about 3 weeks. And when I'm out there in June, I'm going to then do the same thing. I'm probably going to do some live stream interviews with my father so I can get his life stories. I'll just have to tell him to be PG about it because he's seen some goddamn shit. Streams with your dad will be huge. Yeah, we could show off his peg leg. Because that's the trippy. I'm fine saying this on the internet, and this isn't like a big sad boy thing, but that's the trippy part of the scenario. Like Grandma Fran that inspired this business, and if you've been tuning into these streams for a long time, whether you're watching this in the future or currently, you will see that I've got a lot of content with my grandma. Pops here just got his leg amputated at the beginning of 2025. That's why I was out there last. Last time I saw my grandma was to support Pops as he was in the hospital because he got his leg amputated. So it's a trippy scenario for him in many capacities because he just made that major shift in his life, and she provided him that security, and now she's passed on. You know what I mean? He's doing well now. He's taking over the restaurant, and shout out to Fran because, again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but we were trying to push her towards changing the restaurant. We were trying to make some changes, and she was a little adverse to them. Fran didn't necessarily want to take on modern restaurant tactics. Everything had to be like super traditional, like full table service, yada yada. And we were already pushing those directions. So if we choose to keep the restaurant open, which ideally we do, but there's some financial realities that may be occurring, then his innovation has already provided a lot of change to the place that makes it more fiscally realistic. Look at my big words. I'm a big words boy. Come on, fam. But it's nice to see you again, Inf. And shout out, I Am Infinite. He doesn't make the beats so often no more, but I can let you know the music in the background here is made by that man's. Of course, bro, the shop looked super traditional, like something you'd find back in the day or somewhere along the way of a long road trip. And that's the majority of our clientele. It is a giant tourist destination, and that does well. And somehow, the luck of the draw, we've got the digital savvy folks here because we're in a live stream. Like, they absolutely nailed, like, they were on TripAdvisor really early as well as Yelp really early, and got highly good ratings. So their SEO searches are crazy high. Like, my dad did a Valentine's Day dinner, and they had a bunch of tourists pop into the restaurant because they searched up like things to do in town for Valentine's Day, and the family's restaurant pops up first because they've got that. And then they already had people helping with social media, but now daily my dad has someone posting what their menu is, like what their special is for the day, as well as posting their events. We've got a little social media team, surprisingly. And then I add to the mix, because if you search the Old Grouch's Drumheller, you search my grandma's restaurant, all my shorts and reels pop up. So we got the double pronged attack, and somehow just got lucky. We still don't know to this day. We don't know how we got so lucky that 5-star reviews from 2005, 2010. Those are things that people would kill for. Like, people would kill to have that 5-star rating with that much SEO tied to it, and they just got it through the luck of the draw. Yeah, because it's not just like adding the stars to get reviews to create like a local business. It's about like the amount that people are writing about it and what they're saying, especially in the AI era. Before, it was like 3-4 years ago, it was based on the stars rating, because the stars rating would place your placement in the SEO, because it would be, you search burgers in town, they're going to give you the best rated burgers. But now that you have AI algorithms that are balancing everything out, if you have 20 reviews, if you have 50 reviews that are all saying home cooking, Ukrainian food, burgers, lovely folks, good atmosphere, all those things, that's what adds up more now. And that's what it was a miscalculation based on marketing folks. So we've unfortunately, no, just fortunately, there's no unfortunate to that, benefited from it. I've seen restaurants go from almost going out of business to always packed with exposure from influencer review. Oh yeah, it's totally true. I've been watching that, what's the guy? I'm sure if you're saying this, bro, I've been seeing on TikTok and shit, the guy who's like Sam's POV, and now everyone's copying him. There's so many people that take the meta glasses and they start a new channel that's like blank blank POV, New York POV. The Sam's POV is so wholesome, and everyone loves that shit. And that would, my family restaurant would be exactly that type of shit. Yeah, the thing is, I want meta glasses so bad, but I wear real glasses. So to get the way they screw you on the meta glasses is if you need prescription lenses in the meta glasses. Oh my gosh, they charge, it's an arm and a leg. So I need to figure out a way I could use something like meta glasses, or get meta glasses and pay for the actual lenses, because I can't, it's not gonna, the cost benefit equation, if I can't see what I'm doing while I'm working, the video isn't worth it. Use contacts, bro. Okay, maybe. I've never used contacts, but funny enough, I feel quite silly that I never thought of that. I guess I gotta go to contacts. I guess I gotta be a contacts man's. Why is my browser source not refreshing consistently? This is the only thing that I'm tripping out on. Is there settings on this? Because I'm using this new software. I'm using Meld Studios, and it's good. I like it. Just now I'm seeing that my chat box doesn't refresh on a consistent basis. They're decently priced nowadays. I know you can get the discount ones coming in and out. We'll go to the window focus for now. It was good chatting, bro. For real, for real. I'll keep on the personal stuff too. Don't worry, don't worry. We'll keep on the personal stuff. Oh, see these windows? Okay. This is how out of date I am. I gotta get back on my streaming shit. I have to make sure that much more is set ahead of time than what I had previously. Backed up a little bit in terms of the tech aspect. So here we go. We got the vertical stream. I want to remind everyone again, I am on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick, okay? But on the YouTube, now, I've got a nice little streaming platform that allows me to already automate. I've got a vertical YouTube stream, and I've got a horizontal YouTube stream, both running at the same time. So I'm able to like simulcast in multiple formats, and I have the scene set up for each. Unfortunately, the vertical folks, you're not getting the chat because it just distracts. It's not as great of a screen setup. And then, so today, as I was saying, I think before we had our homie in here, before we had Imp in. Yeah, so the one thing I got to figure out a better chat box widget, because that's the only thing that's not updating. That'll be for later. I'll just remember to tap that as much as I can. It's got to be a way. It's got to be a way before we get deep into it. There's no settings on it. Or maybe I set up a window later. Okay, either way. Tech guy just being tech guy. Not important right now. So, if it's your first time here, it's your first time watching this content, you would have gotten through some of the personal babbles here, hanging out with the homies. And what we do is, me and my business partner, Patty, unfortunately, he won't be here today. In our other auction close streams, I'll have him in the other corner, or he'll be in person with me. We are hoping to build towards doing it from our live set at our warehouse studio, but that will be a much more complicated process. So if it's your first time, welcome. I'm Bebe. My name is Bailey, and I run an auction house where we assist people with downsizing and estate clearances. So we work with Max Sold, which is available in Canada and America, and we filter through the entire spread of products that could come through a household. Right now, this auction that we're doing, we don't have the highest of expectations. We set this because we needed to make sure that we keep the consistent flow going. And again, it's been a tough start to the year, and we couldn't push it another month. We need to make sure that we retain our audience, not necessarily for y'all folks. If anything, the streaming platform's being slower, totally on me, because I could have been doing stuff in the meantime. But when it comes to our auction buyers, we want to make sure that we're still pumping things out. And we threw together this quick, like 120 lot auction just to make sure we're getting things out the door. So I'm still hyped. I'm still interested to see the results for today, but it is not as big of a deal if it doesn't perform as well. We also may have very interesting propositions coming from Max Sold, the auction platform itself. And as you can see, we have some items ready to go, and the soft close begins at 7 p.m. So the reminder of a soft close process is, if there's competition, what it does is, if someone bids on something in the last minute, it extends the bidding process. So this allows folks to have the opportunity to get in on the piece. So if you're fighting with someone, right, it stops stream sniping. If you're a streamer, if you're a digital era kid, stop stream sniping. That's why you do it, because otherwise people could just come in at the last minute and put in the highest bid and win every item that they wanted to win. The idea of doing a soft close allows like an even competition for everyone to be able to participate in your auction. So our soft close begins at 7 p.m. We'll end for 7:30 because we have such a low amount of items for this one. It was something like 123. I can pull up those stats. It is very interesting to see the amount of views that we get on the auction, though. It is a little fucking wild, excuse my language. Because although I'm saying we're being humble about the money, 71,000 people have viewed this auction on Max Sold. So when you're looking at analytics, that's a great impression rate. Like, that means at least our products are interesting enough for people to browse the entire selection, which can be a little defeating when you're trying to make the monies, but you can't wag a tail at that, you know what I mean? And yeah, shouts to Inf. Yeah, it's a solid strategy. We got to keep it moving. We got to keep products going. Maybe if this wasn't the Max Sold auction stream, I would talk a little bit more about our personal business, but we do have some potential intriguing things coming up. And then if not, what you can look forward to is in the next few weeks, we're going to have a website ready. We're going to have all of our marketing materials ready. And then after that, I'll be doing the business plan. And part of doing this process is I'm very much expecting to get back into my live streaming career through that. So we'll hang out. I'll build the website together. We're doing a very basic, very boring, very free one-page website. And then I'll make some of the flyers and the other materials. And I'm very comfortable doing the business plan on stream, just probably not the dollar amount parts, just to retain some privacy. You know, I'm big on like making sure that the internet has a little bit of transparency, but they don't know everything about my life. You know what I'm saying? I gotta figure out a way to get this window to refresh without me there, but that's fine. Something we can work out for later. It's like the least of my problems. So this auction, as I said, it was kind of low key. So we didn't necessarily have a lot of high ticket items. It wasn't as curated as our consistent ones. So if it's your first time watching this, we got a good spread of good items. We got a good spread of generic items. We just kind of tossed in everything that we could, and we got 20 minutes to run through everything. This Japanese harp, very intriguing piece. This Japanese harp, it's like you press down the keys on it, and then you strike the chords. So it kind of like automatically does the whole piano thing. It's interesting, it's in tune, and it takes the same chords that a guitar takes. It's a very unique instrument, as it says, a Japanese Nagoya harp with a gloss back finish. This antique mahogany cabinet was an item of my own that I contributed. It's on caster wheels, it's antique. I've dragged it around far too long. I used to use it in a storefront that I had previously, so you learn not to be as sentimental with items as you grow through this business, right? The ones that are always interesting, these professional magnifiers, they're cool, they're unique, but they're consistent sellers. And it seems like such a quirky item to be a consistent seller. I guess because it applies to like jewelers and crafters, like such a wide range of folks. But these professional magnifiers, everyone that we've had has sold for a decently consistent amount. You'll see later on that there's another professional magnifier in this auction lot. And it's such a quirky item. It's something that both me and my business partner, Patty, are like, what the heck? Like, why the magnifiers of all things? Especially ones this old and generic looking, like this yellow box. This is probably, it's at least a decade old. It's probably 15 to 20 years old. And it's just a generic one. This is like, I think it was made in Taiwan. I'm pretty sure is what it says. Made in China. Okay, there you go. This guy who was made in China. This made in China piece selling for 24 bucks when we can't even sell some of these antiques. This Panasonic typewriter. It's an electronic typewriter. Can't even sell it for 10 bucks. But look here. You've got the Panasonic typewriter right here. And then we've got another magnifier that isn't even branded. Doesn't even have a box. Doesn't even have a box. The magnifier is going for 20 bucks. This one is way less fancy. It's even got a nylon strap on it. I shot it on my kitchen table. And then this Panasonic electric antique typewriter, 10 bucks. This is something that like we would take to a market and we would sell it for probably like 75 to 100 bucks. So it's always this like curious dichotomy of like what people need versus what they want. So right now we're going through the items in terms of most bid, and we've got like some of this, like this is a silver plated casserole dish that you would think, has the typewriter been tested? Typewriter, I am 95% sure it was tested. I'm pretty sure my business partner tested it. Yes, it's tested. It is tested. It's electronic typewriter, which is actually better because it provides more consistency. It just needs to be plugged in and it will work. And it's got a carrying case just like this. We had a mechanical one that we were bringing around to markets. It has been tested. We've got Patty's pop-ups in the chat. Shout out to Patty. Shout out to the OG. We got the man of the hour here. It's amazing. It works so well. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Thank you for dropping in, fam. Thank you for dropping in. And we've had an interesting variety of seeing what the value of these pieces are. Because, like, look, even these Bailey's limited edition cups, these are, like, these are practically antiques, right? Yeah, they've got these cute little smiles on them. If you were to eBay the prices of these, that's a significant dollar amount that you could be hauling out of these pieces. And someone's going to get them for such a low value is insane to me. And me and Patty do have a little backdoor bet. We got a little behind the scenes gamble on how much these things are going to go for. So instead of getting hyped or disappointed based on how much money we're making, I'm getting hyped or disappointed based on whether or not I was correct about how valuable these pieces are. This one, the mahogany two-tone mirror, makes a lot of sense. As it says, it's antique. It's 21 inches in width, 23.5 in height. This guy, these mirrors tend to go, it's up or down. It's another one of those that it's hard to determine which pieces of art or mirror work is going to go for the highest ticket dollar amount in auction, because it's really dependent on who you have attending and how consistently they attend the auctions, right? And it looks like we are at, our dollar amount is increasing, and we've got 15 minutes left. Again, everyone, the auction link is pinned in the chat, except for on Twitch, it seems. So if you want to participate, don't be afraid to drop in. I do simulcast, okay? So we are on multiple platforms, all right? We are on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. And I am also streaming to Vertical on YouTube, which I see that is where Patty is watching me. So I'm glad that he's enjoying it and getting involved in the newer format. I think that's goddamn awesome. Let's make sure it's pinned there. So if you want to participate, there you go. It's pinned in YouTube. It's pinned in Twitch. Let's get it. Let's get some money going. Let's get some bids going, because we have 10 to 15 minutes left now, all right? We're about to jump into the actual meat and potatoes of this sale. Now, I come across a decent amount of photography lots, and I really thought they would be worth a lot more money. If anything, I did lose a bit of money on the photography auctions, but I am not upset about that. I would say it was well worth. Oopsies, I just opened another platform. But I would say it's par for the course of trying to sort out just your hustle and what you take in. I really thought it would provide value to more of an audience that is outside of the locality. Because again, if you're participating in Max Sold, you do have to come to our auction pickup in person in Mimico in Toronto. There is potential that we can offer shipping in the future, but that is something that we will have to negotiate with the platform. And I think that is quite doable, but patience, one step at a time, bro. I can't do everything here. I can't do everything. I can just entertain you the best that I can. And I would say if I could be humble, if I can be humble, it's been, again, a few months since I got back into this. I like to think I'm still being entertaining. I think I'm doing okay. Come on. But it has been a minute since I've been live streaming. So again, if you guys have any critiques, you have any input, feel free to leave it in the comments of this video after it's live. The Guinness stuff, Patty. So we've got these old prints. We've got Patty's Guinness stuff, like this vintage metal serving tray, and then I've got this ad that I got from Franz. Shout out. Both of them, these are things that I expected to hit a $20 mark minimum. This Guinness tray, I just watched the House of Guinness too, so it's like even more hitting towards home of how much of like a marketing empire they were. And the fact that it's only going for such a low dollar amount is obscene to me. And this is Barney Google's Ice Cream Parlor Restaurants, which was a chain from the early 1900s. Like when you think of malts and all that fun stuff from back in the day, that's what Barney Google's is. And there's a menu on the back of it. It's a legit old advertisement. Like, look at the quality on that printing. And it's absurd to me. It's absurd to me that it's only at $4. Because as you think someone who collects old school stuff is at least going to want to pay a little bit of money for that. But it looks like our old school stuff ain't doing so hot today, fam. We've got the mixed vintage film and accessories lot. The silver spoons, the silver plated. Me and Patty here, we've been getting into doing more scrapping. So we're looking into companies in Toronto that do scrapping of silver plated products, and they do exist. but you would laugh at how much product you need for it to be viable. It's like something like kilograms at a time, and then you either got to ship it in or you got to drop it off for silver plated products to be worthwhile. But since silver and gold are going so high, if you need a tip, you're clearing out your grandmother's house or something like that. Hold on. If you're clearing out your grandma's house or something like that, you can still get money out of those pieces. But if you are, even if it's like 24 karat gold, like or opposite, sorry, 10 karat gold or 8 karat gold, like low karat gold, you still, gold is almost at like $7,000 USD per ounce. So if you're looking to make a few extra bucks, that's where you're going to want to be making the few extra bucks. So that's the same thing that's happening now with silver plated products. Before, they would be totally worthless if you're looking to get scrap value for the silver plated products. But if you need a few buckaroos, you can stack them. And especially if you're in this reselling hustle, that's the thing. You create a bucket. That's the system that I'm setting up with the dear Patty of Patty's Pop-Ups over here, so that we just have crates set up in the warehouse that are like, okay, here, this bin is steel, this bin is copper, this bin is wires. So wires, you got extension cables in your house? Your dad hoarded extension cables for power outlets and shit? There's a lot of money in them, bro. One plastic tote full of them, $50. Easy peasy. All you have to do is go around to all your neighbors and get a few donations. You're eating. Take a cab over there, drop that bucket off. You got dinner for the week, bro. You got dinner for the week. Easy peasy. But we've got just under 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left until the auction close. I'm excited to see how this goes for the format of Max Sold. Again, we took a few months off, so I am intrigued to see if it's become a little bit more efficient for the user experience. But as we scroll down, we got a little bit of everything. We've got soapstone sculpture going for $1. Mounted hook racks going for $1. All this stuff you could put on Facebook Marketplace and sell no problem. So we're very fine with like sourcing for resellers, and that's something that we hope to do in the future. Like, look at this beige tufted, a silk chair, a chair with silk on it, $1. We even had this in the header image of the entire bloody auction. $1 for a silk chair. Vintage ice skates made in Toronto. I have Harry Potter licensed gift wrap from when Harry Potter was brand spanking new. Like, this is Harry Potter gift wrap from the original release of the book. $1. Like, are you effing kidding me, man? I'm trying to be PG. I think I'm doing okay. You let me know. Am I being PG enough? And I'm curious to see the analytics, because my big achievement after taking the little break, we got monetized on YouTube. So we getting that Google money now, bro. We getting that Google money. So thank you for tuning in any capacity. All right. The best way to support is just to drop a sub to the YouTube channel. And from there, we will keep this empire growing. The idea is that I want to develop, like, all of the income that we get through our YouTube being monetized is ideally then I am supporting other folks in editing our videos down. Even this auction reaction stream can be much more digestible content to folks who aren't so live stream savvy, so long as it's broken down to like a 20-30 minute video. So a lot of entertaining. I could cut in that little grandma story at the beginning. We can cut in a little bit of the review, and then we could cut in the reaction and the summary. There you go, 20-25 minutes. That's a good video right there, right? But tell me when you want to start your own business. Tell me when you have got time to actually accomplish that, right? That's the difficult part of that entire scheme, okay? So that's what we're hoping to work out through having our YouTube monetized. All of that money, until I got to set a deadline for myself, until it's making like $1,000 a month or something like that. It all goes to paying other people to make sure that that platform only grows, because there's a lot of potential here. I don't know if you watch reselling content online or not, but everyone has those videos of them going to an estate or going to a flea market and digging through all the products. And that's all something that we can easily accomplish in a very entertaining style. And I've got a little bit more of my performative PR voice. But Patty is the biggest dreamer I've ever met. And his passion for storytelling is part of the reason that I was drawn to set up this business alongside him. And I'm very intrigued to see where he goes with it. And I think that will be an amazing benefit to the YouTube videos as we get our foothold in the content creation space. And also, the more we get a foothold in the content creation space, the more we can be focused on what we're actually doing, right? The more we can be focused on doing good things and doing fun stuff rather than just trying to hustle, right? This auction could be filled with quirky stuff, and everything else gets sold for $1 or $2 in person at market, versus us trying to rub pennies together to create some alchemy. So just know, every sub that you drop to the YouTube channel only benefits the development of this being more of a passionate and supportive business for other folks. And we're going to clip that so that I seem like a good person. Okay. All right. Okay. So now when we're going, we now have just under 5 minutes. I'm going to take a sip of my drink so that I am prepared and ready for the excitement that's about to come. We have 3 minutes left on the auction, about to start. You know what? I am going to refresh it. I do need a new dark reader that doesn't block out certain websites, because my dark reader for web, I'm sorry if I'm blinding y'all, you don't like the white website, ain't nothing we could do about it right now. It bothers me a little bit too, because I'm just staring at this white screen. But we got closing soon. We got 2 minutes left. I'm glad to be back to this. I'm glad to have y'all joining my company. Shout out to I Am Infinite. Shout out to Afro. All the regulars. We're going to get back on this on a consistent basis. And if anything, it's for my own creative satisfaction outside of just trying to do the marketing tactics and all that fun stuff. I've got another mic holder at the warehouse too. So when I have to do my web work, hopefully I don't have to do it this way. But you know what? For the reaction streams, this is I kind of like this. I kind of like holding the microphone. I feel like it puts you into performance mode automatically. But we'll get a sippy poo. We got 2 minutes left. We got one of the big ticket items at the beginning. A lot of the items that I really wish, I can't believe, like some of these ceramics, if you take them to a vintage market, you try to sell them to old folks. Like we're looking at this stoneware creamer / bowl here. Someone would pay a lot of money for that. I could charge someone $40 for that in person. And the fact that it goes for $1, it's not a crime because we do so much volume. So I'm not like necessarily upset. The whole point here is, again, the ethical rehoming of everything. But it's absurd to see when you know the entire market and know where and how you can sell things, to see how little they go for sometimes. Ooh. Whew. We got about a minute left. I'm definitely going to have to get a routine of like tea or something before these streams. Being out of practice. Oh my gosh, I am okay with the babbling aspect of it, but whew, it's a lot of talking, a lot of fast talking. But so shout out anyone who's new. If you want to check out or participate in the auction, you literally have a minute left. You have 48 seconds and the first item is closing. And this is only going to be a half hour. This is finishing at 7:30. We'll do a little bit of a review at the end to see our results. But I want to let you know, if you want to jump in, now's the frickin' time, okay? We've got 30 seconds left. We've got the Lifestyle Clear Crystal Goblet set of 6 closing for $1. We have our big ticket piece, which I expect to jump up. The Nagoya Harp closing for $75. And we've got the Kodak Brownie film camera for $6. $6, that's a steal. Again, good luck. Good luck finding that much film products. because right after that we have the mixed vintage film camera and accessories lot, as well as the Minolta Auto Pack 430E film camera, closing for $11. So it looks like we have some film bidders in the auction, and it looks like we closed at the $75 and $6. But given the laggy nature of Max Sold, we will go back and review for the end of the day. I find it crazy that the people that are buying these film camera miscellaneous lots aren't buying this other little one for $0. Put the dollar in. Why don't you? It's $1. Just take it and run. You know, but we've got the other miscellaneous film photography lot, and then next up of our bigger pieces for this small auction, we have the professional magnifier like new that I showed off earlier, going for $24, as well as some higher end pieces, some higher end ceramics coming up once again. Stuff that I could sell for a pretty penny in person, about to go for a frickin' steal, okay? We've got the lots closing of the vintage photography stuff closing for $10, $11. One miscellaneous going for $0, one going for $1, another going for $0. With a minute left on the professional magnifier, which I would have been expecting a bit more competition to, with a pair of burgundy ceramic mugs, a Narco and Giftcraft, one Buckaroo. We've got a glass floral decal medium bowl, clear with green and purple flowers, $0. That's like, come on, give that to your mom or something. Give it to your aunt. You know what I mean? We've got the gray organizer lamp. I literally bumped into someone this weekend while helping someone move homes who said they wanted one of those gray organizer lamps. Shame on them for not buying it in my auction. We're looking at the soapstone figures. Soapstone figures. These are things that these soapstone figures. You go into a fancy antique store, they're gonna charge you like $200 for that thing. Going for $1. That's a nice little piece there too, with the 3-line Yamato K 450 melamine serving tray. Melamine used to be a top tier product when it comes to auction houses, but unfortunately I don't think people see the value in what it is anymore. But it's one of those things, as time passes, people have different interests, so you can't be too salty about that. The Winsor & Newton Bottled Artist ink set, 7 colors. I knew it would be a successful lot. I, again, thought it would be worth a little bit more, but I'm glad that they're going to be appreciated, because I know an artist is definitely going to show up on pickup day to pick that up. And again, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, you get to meet me and my business partner, Patty, who unfortunately is not here today in person when you come to the auction pickup for these, which will be occurring on Sunday of this week, and it is at 2491 Lakeshore Boulevard West in Mimico, which is adjacent to Toronto. So even if you want to come out and say hi, hang out, that's the right day. Hit us with a DM. We'll let you know the opening hours, and don't be afraid to drop in, all right? Now, what are we looking at? We got the melamine tray again, the handmade stoneware. Oh, the hide closed lots button is finally working. It's working. It actually clears the lots. So we'll go back and check out the dollar amounts at the end in case there were any glitches. Bidding was extended on the Corningware, so that means it definitely went for more than $1. The vintage film camera and accessories lot as well went up in value. We've got the handmade studio stoneware covered jar, blue and cream, approximately 6 inches, going for $5, as well as the Ansley porcelain small plates with serving cup, bird and floral, $2. The soapstone is the one that I can't get over. Wow, that's a beautiful piece. About to close for a Buckaroo, hopefully going to a good home. And Pyrex has been doing an up and down in many capacities. So we've got the Silex glass carafe heater and 4 Pyrex mugs, as well as a Pyrex vintage glass casserole with silver plated metal carrier. A silver piece of Pyrex going for $8. Tell me where you're going to get that. Go on eBay. I dare you. I dare you to go on eBay and find me that same product for the same price. It won't happen. And shout out to Mike Phantom on Kick for the follow, okay? Thank you very much for jumping in the chat. I appreciate you coming out. Again, I do simulcast, so I am on Twitch, I am on Kick, and I'm on YouTube, and I'm streaming to both traditional YouTube format as well as mobile. And I do intend to get back to my streaming career on a more consistent basis. So if you give me a subscription on any of these platforms, you will see me doing a variety of content. Next up will be media, most likely. I have to work on producing stuff for the business, and I've got a backlog of photographs that I need to edit so that I can feel creatively satisfied. The handmade studio stoneware that's about to close. At least that went for more than the soapstone, which soapstone only went for $1. We got a pair of black wall-mounted hook racks with 6 metal hooks, 23 inches. This is, again, another one of those pieces that are more practical when we're looking at local auctions through Max Sold. These tend to be our more consistent pieces. Since we do estate clearances and downsizing, what we find people are actually interested in purchasing is stuff that has a practical purpose for their lifestyle that they feel that they're getting a deal on versus collectors. I.e., an example of this is looking at the HSM ShredStar X6 crosscut document shredder. Oh my God, that's a mouthful. Going for $7. Versus like the portable AM FM radio, because it's something that someone's going to practically use in their everyday lifestyle or be able to rehome or gift to someone that can also use it. Because you see that. So shredder going for $70. We've got mahogany wooden figures. These cute little figures in the middle here, $0. It seems like it is hard to get art appreciated for its value unless it's something that's framed and more traditional that you could put up in a variety of households, you know? And that's understandable from a public relations and perception perspective, but defeating from a creative perspective. Because, man, I think sometimes these little mahogany carvings, you don't know who it was made by. That thing is way more incredibly unique than some of these tapestries that we have coming up in the auction, which, speaking of which, we have some interesting pieces of silverware, cutlery coming up, and cutlery has done great for us in the past. So it's an intriguing change to see these lots only going for a few bucks each, and it looks like I might be losing my bet to my business partner, which will be hilarious because he will get to have the last laugh at me. But I want to remind everyone, shout out to you for participating. And if you're interested in the type of content that we make and the space that we curate, you will be able to visit us in person when you pick up these pieces. The auction link is still pinned in the top of every platform that I'm streaming from, although you've got to get in quick if you want any of these pieces. Now, okay. I'm holding on to this okay. I'm doing okay. I'm a little rusty, but I'm holding on to it okay. But, I either need to have a lozenge or I literally, if you've been watching for a long time, I already expressed this before, I think I need to do like vocalist practices. Like I need to do, as if I was a singer, I need to practice using my diaphragm more, as well as like talking at this pace for such a consistent time. Because I think I still got the entertainment quality, but you got cotton mouth as if I was like smoking a little participatory activities before, and I wasn't. Just from talking this much. It's even when I'm serving in restaurants, I don't have to talk this much. So excusez-moi. Oh my gosh. It's like 120 items I got to announce in less than a half hour. Thank you for respecting my humanity and allowing me to take a breather. So with that, we have the... Sorry, I made myself laugh. So with that, we have the 9-inch clear cut... Oh, no, my God. We have the 9-inch clear-cut glass bowl with chrome metal rim closing for $4. And we have the antique mahogany solid wood Curiosio display cabinet by DF & Co. about to close for $46. That is a very unique piece, which you should appreciate. It's going to go for a good home. I definitely know that. It's so old that it had wooden caster wheels, which you don't come across often. And they're beautiful. They're stunning. But if you try to move them across like tiled floors and stuff, it's a bloody headache. And I imagine even like our modern hardwood floors have the nice veneer on them. But if you had traditional hardwood floors, it would, oh my gosh, I wouldn't want to even know the number that they would deal on it. And we're looking at, see what I mean when I'm talking about art? We've got these paper collage mixed medias, which are framed and signed $0, which we really need to find an outlet for so that they get appreciated. Again, it's all about rehoming these products to somewhere that people are going to value the pieces, not necessarily generating the most profit. So as you see me obsessing about low dollar amounts, it's because it's like, wow, these are really valued in other circuits by very wealthy folks. So how can we make sure that they're going to a good home? The fact that it's going for $0 or $1 is disappointing because it's very important to us to make sure that it's going to someone who's going to cherish that piece. It's not necessarily about how much money we're going to generate out of it, right? So that's, as I'm constantly problem solving, that's the biggest problem in my mind. Now we're looking at a vintage mid-century green wicker laundry hamper with a hinged lid, as well as the antique wood tabletop mirror, brown mahogany and walnut tone, about to go for $15. That is a good steal. And we're looking at the framed mode Eggiemeyer. Eggiemeyer. I think it's Edgemeyer, or it's got to have some sort of accent that I'm just totally fucking up, to be honest. We've got the antique cast iron sat iron. You know how many so many of those cast iron sat irons for like $40 a pop? We got the Harrods. It's got to be Harrods because it's Irish. Food Halls Fish Irish linen tea towel, about to go for $6. That is also a lot of syllables to get out of your mouth. And these chairs, the furniture, dog, the furniture. We've got Arts and Crafts Mission Rocking Chair. A Mission Rocking Chair. It's a British rocking chair going for $1. You know how much people would pay for this in other scenarios? Holy crap. They're getting a steal. But ideally, you're in turn buyer. You come back and you see us. You pay some real money for some things because we gave you a goddamn dealio when you came in the first place. We've got a set of 11 clear glass, multiple hole flower frogs. These frogs, oh, that's a good sign. We've held on to these frogs for a while. Actually, I think this is frogs from another estate. It took me forever to learn what a frog was. So education time for the stream. A frog. So we've got this set of 11 glass multiple hole frogs. Education time for the stream, okay? We're looking at frogs here. These frogs, I was like, what are these? They're made of glass. What do they sit in? They've got all these holes in the top, right? The holes in the top is actually what they're set for is flowers. Flowers, right? When you get a bouquet nowadays, they give you those little pack of nutrients that you put in the bottom of the bowl. So you can put in the stems of all the flowers, and the stems are able to sit in the water and adequately take up all the nutrients that they need to survive. So, interesting fun fact that actually took me a while to learn, even though I'm involved in this vintage antique hustle. A beige tufted silk Chesterfield, a silk chair. Where are you going to get a silk chair for $1? Meanwhile, the side table, what do side tables go for $11? People are willing to fight over the side table, but they're not willing to fight over the chair. Oh my God, it's astounding to me. 1911, about to close. We've got a couple products here, about to close in a minute. So that's the frogs going for $40. We've got the antique wooden shoe stretcher about to go for $0. We've got the beige tufted silk Chesterfield armchair about to go for $1. We've got the set of 4 vintage vanity mirrors with a tortoise shell styled leather, not actual tortoise shell, going for $1. We've got the vintage wooden side table with green leather top going for $19. And on top of that, we have the vintage Samsonite beige train vanity case hard shell going for about $19. What makes it a vanity case? I don't know. I would label this as a toolbox. Oh, that is why it's a vanity case. It is very clearly a vanity case. True enough. All right, I stand corrected. Now we're looking at the IKEA. Ooh, a vintage IKEA usually sells well, so that is an intriguing thing. And the Belgium Duro Boer Texaco promotional mid-century stemware. So as I'm talking about selling in person, this Texaco stemware piece We were able to sell a package of these for $20 in person just this past weekend. So it is very intriguingly absurd to see that they don't get the appreciation that they deserve. The wooden ducks for $6, which is, again, it's quirky. It's quirky, bro. As we're doing these evaluations and you're spending time with me, two of the items that we have a minute left on, we've got wooden duck decoys, and we've got vintage/antique Guinness, right? Who would have guessed, no matter how professional you get in this industry, how many years you spend understanding supply and demand, that once you put it to auction, you have to really be ready to roll the dice, because somehow this set of 5 mid-century wooden ducks going for more money than the Guinness vintage metal serving tray. I dare you to figure out why that happens. You tell me. Chat, let me know. Let me know, because I don't know. Tobacco tins have also fallen off. Tobacco tins are similar to coins. So unfortunately, the tobacco tins definitely aren't bringing in what they used to, which is very valid. Less people smoke, less people collect those kind of kitschy antiques, so it makes sense. This Mexican hand-painted ceramic earthenware vase, though, was something that I've seen go in other auctions for a much more high-value dollar amount, which is very intriguing. That is also closing within a minute, and it looks like we've had the bidding extended on some high-quality baking dishes. I'm very intrigued. If you stick around afterwards, we will do a review of how much dollar amounts each item sold for, because I do want to do a little checkup. It's been a few months since we did this, so I think the review is beneficial for me, and I want to provide that little content aspect so that you can sit here and understand how the auction performed, right? So the earthenware vase about to go for a buckaroo. We've got the Bailey's limited edition, the self-named Bailey's limited edition winking face motif cups that we held on to for far too long because they're only going for $9. And now we've got the Urban Barn Ariana lantern and a black and white sealed candle. So you could put that candle inside of there. All closed, all closed. $70 for the typewriter, dog. Oh, let's see. So the ducks, we got the ducks coming up. Looks like the bidding was extended on the ducks. So the ducks shouldn't be that low. We've got a crystal punch bowl about to go for $1, and now we're headed into some of the more mysterious lots that don't have a lot of competition. And this Gerard Electro Home console stereo with turntable, $2. This is where you're going to find this. Now it does need some maintenance. So to be fair to the buyers, the condition very tough. You would have to be an audiophile or audio specialist to be able to evaluate what type of repairs it may need. And so I kind of respect the risk evaluation that comes alongside a purchase of this format. But, bro, again, I dare you to go to a vintage shop near you and get that type of product for such an affordable price. $73 on the 11 clear glass frogs. Why? Who's buying the frogs for that much? That's a lot of money for frogs. It's a lot of frog money. No way. Yeah, I've never sold a frog for that much. $78 on a frog. Oh my God. That's sick. That's a lot of frog money, bro. It's a lot of frog money, fam. Sorry. I think I'm just obsessed with saying frog as much as I possibly can. I can't get over that. That's a little absurd to me, though. Oh, my gosh. What a frog price. Now, the paintings, as I mentioned before, for some reason, the paintings are more accessible for people to purchase in contrast to sculptures or other more, it's not abstract, but 3D formats of art. So as we're looking into this floral framed print going for $8, could sell for a lot more. We got the other one going for $17, and I think we've got a couple other pieces coming up later in the auction. So I'm not surprised that they're going for a more tasteful price point, let's say. And it seems as if we are drawing quite a bit more competition. I am just checking my notifications in case the business partner has messaged me, which he has not, so we are good to continue. The frogs. Frogs ran it up to 78 bucks. Surprise, these vintage skates. These vintage skates we found in an estate, and I'll take that as an L. These vintage skates, I was like, these are going to be worth money. No way that they don't sell. And $1 on them. Made in Toronto ice hockey skates. Whether you're Canadian or American, I feel like if you ran across those in a flea market, you're going to be like, oh, definitely, those are worth money. Evidently not. At least it's good to see that the Bailey's limited edition Waking Face motif cups and creamer set with spoons has gone up a little bit. We've got the set of 4 brass caster wheels, which are fantastic for doing your own repairs on your own projects. And it looks like we did get some more bidding on this Electro Home stereo. So shout out to anyone who watches. My favorite part of this experience, my favorite part of doing this live streaming announcing for our auction closes is seeing the items run up as I talk about them. So I am very grateful to see y'all get as excited as I am about what these products might actually come out to. And we got the oh my God, Atletico de Madrid. Oh my God, I'm not allowed to do accents. We've got the Madrid that is not the Royal Madrid going up for $0, which was a Bailey choice, which I feel terrible about because I thought that would sell. What do we got? Do we have any big ticket items coming up? It looks like we're going to have a little bit of a lull. Auction is almost done. We've got 10 more minutes left. Oh, the rare Wizard of Oz 70th edition. I thought was going to go for a lot more money, but it is what it is. I chose a career where we gamble on the cost of these items. $88 on the frogs. We've had some frog petition here, it seems. Bidding was definitely extended. The Kingston Orbit Fusion wireless trackball mouse untested. I took one of those trackball mouses home myself so that ideally when these auctions I could have the trackball mouse and I can just use the trackball mouse to scroll. But we'll see if that's a viable thing. Tennis racket $1. Vintage IKEA $0. We've got the Madrid scarf. Wow, $0. The Sleeman Brewery's about to go for $1. These knee-high boots, I thought, they're pretty. They're pretty. I thought they would go for some money. You're telling me you can't sell knee-high boots for $1? Oh, man, you're making me feel ashamed. Carl's Ice webcam, I feel okay about. I got scammed out of. It's an old eBay buy. I bought this guy. It's a unique piece, but it's incredibly outdated tech. If anything, I would be repurposing it for some sort of kit bashing project. The rare, the Mickey Mouse comic books. $0. No way. I picked they're like Chinese Disneyland comic books that have also programs of what's going on in the parks. From 1993, they're as old as I am. I cannot believe that they didn't even get $1. Imperfect Strangers, it looks like we're running into some of my products. Typically, I've seen U.S. Army chevrons and products like that go for a lot more money, so I am intrigued in that. There's a lot of military collectors out there, so that's what I would say is more kooky about it. Ooh, and Max Sold stopped putting URLs in there. Stop putting URLs in the description, so you got to copy and paste it now. We lost that little advantage. Max Sold. When we have a conversation with them, we might have to negotiate that. Good to note. So we're into like some of my eBay fluctuations. This porcelain doll, I always get stuck shooting the creepy dolls. Somehow, in this business partner relationship, whenever I get to shooting, bro, look at this. This thing was just staring at me for what felt like hours, but realistically, it was 5 minutes. But it's glare. I need it out of here. Can someone just please pay $1 to get this doll out of my possession. I don't want it anymore. I would love it if you could take it, because I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it after today. It's a nightmare. It's terrifying. I don't think it's cursed. I can promise you that. I don't think it's cursed. So at least, hey, maybe we can have some sort of business arrangement here where you get creepy dolls off my hands. If we got a doll collector in the chat, though, for real, I'm teasing right now. But you got a doll collector in the chat, I would love to be able to provide the dolls to someone who actually appreciates them. Again, this is all based on ethics, okay? So we really want to make sure that these items go to a home where they're appreciated versus making the maximum amount of buckaroos, all right? So we do host these auctions on a monthly basis. So if you're interested in what you're seeing, if you're interested in stuff like these old watches, the U.S. Army chevrons, all that fun crap, I want to remind you that you can follow us. You can subscribe to our channels, or you can subscribe to me on Instagram or any of the other platforms, and you will be able to be kept up to date on our upcoming auctions, because we do it on a monthly basis, and we do estate clearances and downsizing, so our variety will always be as eclectic as what you're seeing here today. At least Barney Googles went for $4. Would have wanted a little bit more for it, but it's going to a good home. The Winnie the Pooh. So this one. So Kooky the Cucumber. I thought people would cherish it. Kooky the Cucumber, if you didn't know, Mr. Potato Head was a sidekick. Mr. Potato Head here was a very creepy sidekick by Hasbro to Kooky the Cucumber. And this is a kit with Potato Head and the Cucumber. That's an OG toy. And on top of that, what was the other one I was going to look at? We got Kooky the Cucumber, and we had another antique piece that, just went out of the bidding. Oh, the Winnie the Pooh. This is a Winnie the Pooh. I guess it needs repairs, so fair, but this is a transportable record player, like a phonograph, that, like, even all your hipster friends have that transportable. It starts with a C. I think it's Crosby leather portable record player. This Winnie the Pooh record player, Jesus, man. It's a unique piece. It's a unique piece, so it's just a bad gamble on my end. I'll take the L and think, like, oh, this is cute. This is like some Disney head is going to want to get in here and get that piece of history. This is made in Canada even. Like, wow, holy crap. And now we've got the Milton Bradley handheld gaming toys, which I've sold gaming toys for more in the past, which makes sense. But makes sense that is going for a little bit less is why I say it that way. We've got the unbranded magnifier lenses. I can't get over that. We've got the magnifier lenses for jewelry and crafts that are untested. And somehow these are probably one of our most consistent product varieties, which is absurdly intriguing. I guess it's because of the multiple applications that they have. Like, because you could use them for, as stated, for jewelry or just working with your hands in fine detail, or maybe even doing home repairs. Like, it feels like they probably have a bit more application, but it's strange. It's very strange. Harry Potter books, $6. Goosebumps books, $7. To be fair, for general novels, these are probably the best-selling prices that we've had on books. These Harry Potter books of various ages and various conditions, and we've got a lot of Goosebump books, paperback R.L. Stein classics. These guys, we've always struggled to sell books, and as I bring it back to our ethical approach, man, in our modern era, it's one of the most defeating facts that we have is like we're really struggling. We might be working with a local nonprofit in Toronto to do a pay-what-you-can book and VHS shop and just have shelves full of them, and you can take what you can and pay what you can. But because it feels, I'm a history nerd, I'm a little bit of a geek myself, as you can tell, and it's so defeating to have to just get rid of so many freaking books. It's just like every household, you pull so many out, and you pull out like shelves full of them, and I can't even sell them for $1 half the time. And it's just very impractical for our business to be able to hold on to them for that long of a time. But also, I just don't want to throw them out. I would give them away. I just want them to find a freaking home. You know what I mean? So shout out to y'all. You see the address. The address is in the description of this auction. If you want some books, come through for some books, bro. That Wizard of Oz 70th anniversary box set. That's crazy that I only went for $8. Wow, and that looks like it's it, folks. That is it. Our auction has closed. And who would have guessed the frogs? The frogs were the top selling item. Wow. What an experience. What a time getting back into this, too. I'm not upset, but I'm not stoked. You know what I mean? I'm in this weird in-between of emotions. As I told you when we started this, we launched this auction knowing that it might not be what it has been because we were just trying to move product out of our door. So in that capacity, I am okay with it. But I was kind of hoping. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more love, you know? But at the end of the day, like, developing a relationship with your consistent buying audience is incredibly more important than... Damn it, I lost the bet. Damn it. I'm literally going to text him right now while I'm live on stream. And then I'm going to go to the washroom right quick, and then we'll do our little review process. Because, again, I'm welcome. I know what you mean. I got love for you. I know. God damn it, he's in the chat. He's in the chat. He knows I lost the bet. Fuck. Good thing I didn't make a bet. It literally, when I was about to text Patty's pop-ups, is like, good thing I didn't make the bet. That would have been a big L of a bet. I got love for you, too, and... We knew what we were getting into with this one, so I'm definitely not as sad as a couple of the other auction experiences that we've had because we 100% knew what we were getting into. So it's not as big of a deal. But, man, I thought it would have been. I thought I would have hit the. I thought we would have hit the mark that I was gambling on. I thought it would have been that little. I thought we could get a few more cookies to eat off of. You know what I mean? Oh, it will be. It will be. It will be. We'll add volume to it as well. A bit more organized. And depending on what our future steps do, might have opportunity to be able to do it much more. It was close. It was close. The frogs are the biggest one. That we got Patty's pop-ups in the chat, my business partner. And the frogs are the ones. I would have never expected the frogs to sell for that much. I think we've even tried to sell frogs before. And they did not make that dollar point, which is, it's unpredictable. It's unpredictable. So I'm going to do a bit of a review. I'll babble a little bit longer. I'm just literally running to the washroom. I'll be around the corner. I'll be back in less than a minute. We'll turn the music on. We'll put you on the BRB screen. Give me 2 seconds here. All right, y'all? All right, y'all. We back. We're going to review things for like 15, 20 minutes. I got to add some opinions here. Want to hit the 2-hour mark total for the stream. So when it comes to my thoughts, I'm okay with the results. I do also enjoy this. I like holding the microphone. It feels more intuitive. I'll have to talk to the business partner, Patty, about how he feels about it. Because I think with him being an artiste in his past life, he might also enjoy having to hold the mic. So the standing during the reaction time plus holding the microphone, I kind of like. No matter what, the standing during the reaction time, I think I need to stand or at least be in a more interactive position. The sitting, I get lethargic in a way that I would say just isn't entertaining. I am interested to see, now that the YouTube is monetized, the statistics that I get out of running both these streams. Obviously, I'm well aware of how the internet works and how monetization works, so I'm not expecting to make a bunch of buckaroos off of doing this for y'all. But I'm curious if it's like 1 cent or 15 cents. You know what I'm saying? As for the value of the items that came out of this, we set it up with the intention to not be trying to get the most value possible out of these pieces. So let's see, what was the percentage? 2 percentages that are important for me. First is the sell-through rate. 71% sell-through rate, so that's okay. 400 bids, 73,000 views. So when it comes to an analytics standpoint, 73,000 is good. It just all depends on where we put our major eggs in which baskets. You know what I'm saying? Like when we have to run a business, where are those primary income streams coming from? Because then otherwise, let's see, we'll open it up, we'll search together, we'll do lowest. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 35 on the dot. 35 unsold lots. And that was me. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 lots that were unsold were lots that I selected. So in terms of losing percentages, then I would say, okay, I chose the majority of lots that were unsold. But at the same time, those were the majority of those, like more than half of those, were eBay recycles. So the items were already shot and prepared for business purposes. So that's not a waste of labor hours. We're looking at the highest bid on items. I would say everyone here makes sense except for, as we're looking at the clear glass frogs. The frogs are always... It's crazy. You'd think they'd be worth $98 every time you try to sell them, but we've definitely tried to sell them before, and they've been set up at our warehouse in a very fashionable display sense, and no one's even offered us $10 for them. Electronic typewriter, $17 again, could sell more for other platforms. We really have to do an evaluation of like how to better filter through where the products go and how to get them set up. No matter what, we need space in the warehouse, no matter the next step. But that's for interpersonal discussions, not for the internet as a whole to be privy to, okay? All right, y'all. And I want to remind you, we do simulcast. So we are on Twitch, we are on Kick, we are on YouTube, and I'm both streaming to YouTube mobile format as well as the YouTube classic traditional horizontal format. I'm hoping to add more mobile formats in the future, but we got to be patient. Baby steps, right? Baby steps. I can't hit them all at once, bro. I ain't a superhero here. Nothing we can do about it right now. It bothers me. But I do like the setup. I'm very glad to be getting back into this. I was a little concerned about how my performance may be because it's been a few months since I've been the live streaming boy. But as evident, it's more like a bike with rusty wheels over having to learn a new movement. You know what I mean? Learn a new system. Mike Phantom, shout out to you. Love and positivity. Thank you for dropping in. Thank you for the follow, Mike. Again, when I do stream, I do simulcast, so you'll be able to catch me on Kick and all the other platforms. On top of that, I think next week I'll be doing some of the media work. I need to develop the website for this business, so I'll be hanging out with y'all as we get that website ready. And I also do a lot of photography work as well as a couple other personal interests of mine. So we'll have some fun times as we get that kicked back up and running. Best way to support, again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just hit the monetization there. I am monetized. I am a Twitch affiliate as well, but we all know how great Twitch is to its creators, hence why I'm also on Kick. But thank you for dropping in. I love getting new Kick viewers because it's an alternative platform. It's always very interesting to pick people's brains about why they spend time on Kick versus YouTube and Twitch. So, Mike, if you're interested in sharing, that is something I would be interested in hearing. Why do you like Kick more? When it comes to our business hustle, it seems like we've got the right formula moving forward. I'm fine being transparent, and we have in past streams. If you go back to my YouTube channel and watch the past streams where my business partner Patty was here in person or virtual, something that was a big mix-up when we first started this business is we really thought that the auction house was going to be the cornerstone. Like, the auction house is going to be what makes the business work. And unfortunately, we had to learn through trial and error that the auction house is a little cream on top, but we really need to focus on securing our income through other means. So it is curious to see how that works out. Which there's some big talks to come for how we develop the business model in the future, because it's not a simple recipe, and the only reason I'm so hesitant to talk about it is not because I'm confused about it, but I like to keep a little bit of a veil up with the internet based on how much I share with you guys. So I don't want to speak things into existence that might not necessarily occur just yet. But there are some interesting propositions in our field work. Either way, what's coming up next for us is going to be developing what our business model looks like for the future. And part of that will be identifying our primary income sources, as now that we've done this for a year, there's a couple lanes that we could take. And I have a part-time job. I work in the leather workshop, which is a lovely hands-on experience that truly it's quite fulfilling, because so much of my career, especially when I was streaming way more often, so much of my career, I got 3 screens in front of me plus a light. And I got my chat window. I got this. I got that. I got my chat bots. There's so much to juggle. So my daytime job, having a part-time job where I just like make things with my hands, is actually way more financially securing, but it is truly, it's kind of relaxing. It's kind of good to just be like making shit and not having to give a crap. I still care about doing quality work. It's my bigger thing. This is where I've gained my compliments at the new job. Because I still, even if I'm working for someone, even if I'm the lackey, I care about, you're paying me. You're paying me, man. I'm going to put in the effort to make sure that I do a good job. But at the same time, other than doing a good job, it's not my business. Not my monkeys. You know what I mean? When it comes to this auction, it was haphazardly put together. But I would say the results are another exemplification of how it's very difficult to predict. And to be fair and to play devil's advocate for my business partner, I'm typically the one trying to add more organization and structure. I'm quite often the one trying to be like, we have to add methods, we have to add procedures, we have to make this something that is repeatable for folks who don't necessarily have the same skills as us. But I do think this kind of shows that it's impossible to predict. For lack of a better word, I was trying to think of like a fancier phrase. We've been hitting this brick wall for the past few months of both of our business contrasting opinions. Both of our contrasting opinions for business have been coming to light because I like to add more predictability and structure, and my business partner is heavily on it will always be chaos, and it's if you try to apply too much structure, it will be impossible to predict. And we've been beating our heads against the wall with these auctions because it's starting to exemplify a weird middle ground between both of our opinions that are like, you could pick high quality items, you can pick a good spread of items, but no matter what, it's just all about who shows up that day. And there is a lot of external factors that can be influenced by setting up a successful business and successful marketing strategy by having hundreds of return buyers or thousands of return buyers, and having a social media strategy that reaches international audiences so that people are tuning into these live streams and tuning into the auction from many diverse locations. But at the same time, at the end of the day, the people buying the stuff, that's the part you can't necessarily predict, especially when we're tied to an auction platform like this that is purely local based, right? I won't get as angry as I did in other streams when I was talking about our auctions. I do think the user experience of Max Sold is very influential. I've bumped into more than a few folks IRL as of late that I've talked about the fact that we're Max Sold partners. We are partners with this company that we host the auctions on. And there's been quite a few folks that have expressed how frustrated they are at the fact that it's laggy, or if you watch this entire video all the way through, you would have seen that the frogs, last time I was looking at the frogs, they were in the 70s and 80s. And they ended up closing at $98. That didn't show up on my screen. Which, at the end of the day, as a seller, for me, whatever, right? It's fine. But my public relations brain and my media strategist brain is that's a deterrent, right? Imagine if you're a guy or human. Imagine if you're a human willing to spend over $120 on those frogs. And then on your end, you were sitting there, like, we got the frogs, let's pull them up. So if I'm frustrated with how slow it is, right, I can't keep up with seeing the sales prices. Imagine if you were the guy, again, non-gendered, let's go back to human. Imagine if you were the human trying to compete for this piece, and you were willing to go to even $120, $140 for all these frogs. And I only saw them get to 80. Now, how frustrating would it be if you were the person who was willing to spend 140 for these, and just because the system was lagging, you weren't able to actually get the piece that you want? Again, it's not about the dollar amount. It's about the fact that it's a very poor user experience, which does disappoint me about how this software, which is Max Sold, works. Otherwise, the simplicity of the uploading process, their customer service, their seller relations, their percentages even are a little crazy, but they're fair, especially as everyone's upping their prices. My traditional experience was going through eBay. I have an eBay shop. That's where I sell and made my career in reselling. So like, I do get the increasing percentages, so I'm not too upset about that. But it's another one of those examples of prioritizing the functionality of your software without prioritizing, and your marketing strategy without I would say it's another example of prioritizing the functionality of your software and the marketability in a quantifiable process versus the qualitative experience for your users, buyers, sellers, as well as the overall brand image of the product that you are offering. That qualitative and quantitative experience is often something that gets lost in the maelstrom with tech companies, i.e. if you're looking at gaming companies, it is a big example of that. That is why you see many games that are microtransaction heavy or DMCA heavy fall off very quickly, because they're very much focused on the quantitative experience versus the qualitative experience. I.e., since we're on Twitch and YouTube, you look at how thriving and content-driven a game like Helldivers is versus when was the last time you saw a YouTube short about Call of Duty Warzone? Right? I'm not trying to be some high and mighty PR specialist here, but I feel like I'm dropping a little bit of facts. You know what I'm saying? Arc Raiders is the GOAT. Arc Raiders is the GOAT, and I've even been saying, you want to go on that rant? Yeah, he just popped in with the randomness. That's okay. I'm babbling for about 8 more minutes, and then I'm out of here. Arc Raiders is the GOAT, but I'm talking about those qualitative and quantitative experiences. Even when you're looking at our Arc Raiders, they're getting quite defeated by the fact that they're not able to keep up with the glitches and shit that's being found. Now, to be fair, on a PvP experience game like that, the amount of testers and the amount of HR team and the amount of fixers you're going to need, it's intensely difficult to be able to. Literally, you need EA money. Like, if you're an Arc Raiders team, they probably have like 10 people or less, solving glitches and answering people's complaints. And it's intense. Like, when you're getting the player base that they have, you just can't do it. And even though they have that player base, you're not bringing in that amount of money, right? You can't literally pay that staff. You need to be bankrolled by having multiple other games under your belt. Brought up Helldivers. That's the benefit of Helldivers being PvE. Since it's PvE and you're getting a maximum of 4 players playing your computer-based thing, if a glitch happens, if there's a spamming or whatever, then it's easier to resolve because you're just fixing the AI or the machine learning of your NPCs versus the other half of it, right? A duplication glitch when you have an extraction shooter that creates an inherent market based on the value of those products is intensely harder to resolve because that affects your entire user base versus like, oh, when I play these levels, they're not dropping enough loot. That's the easy problem, right? So a PvE experience, a lot easier to troubleshoot and maintain versus a PvP experience, which if you make a wrong step, you lose everyone in one update, right? And exactly, yeah. As Imp says in the chat, yeah, true. Exploits in PvP can break the game experience much harder than PvE. And you need less people, right? You need less people. You're trying to fix a PvE experience. You're trying to fix a PvE experience. You can have 5 people just answering the emails and answering the support tickets. When you have a PvP experience, it's a narcissistic experience. It's what why people complain about modern WoW. Classic WoW, when it originally released, was heavy into having humans on the support side of all of the tickets submitted. And now when you submit a ticket to Blizzard, it takes ages for anything to be done. And it's because of that capacity issue. You need to have a large team that when you're looking at economics, ideally if you're a customer service focused, you would pump more money into that rather than the sales department. And it's a bigger capitalism argument. But you get lost in the sauce because that's not the most cost effective. The money return you get from answering all of the support tickets submitted is not nearly as valuable as putting more people on the marketing team and the sales team and the sponsor acquisition team, or the people trying to make a deal with fucking Microsoft so that you can put Halo characters in your video game. You know what I mean? Because that's what brings in the money. That's what brings in the money. More customer service people, they're not bringing in any money. They're just losing money. So that's how the capitalist folks see it, and it's a little frustrating. But the advantage, at least, is that if a lot of people are flagging the same exploit, it might get actioned quicker. Yeah, and that's the same thing. Then you get into like a weird... Yeah, when money's involved, it's always a consideration. Yeah, I would say it's a lot of... That's why I made the comparison of like Warzone to Helldivers, for example. Of like, you're not even seeing reels come out of Warzone anymore, right? So that lack of true attention can really degrade consumers' interest in sharing your product organically. Because at the end of the day, what makes your business now is the clippers, right? Are there people making reels about your game, possibly making YouTube monetization money, but not taking a paycheck from you, right? Or are they solely dependent on sponsorship money? Like, I would argue that's why Call of Duty Black Ops, the most recent one that dropped, failed, because they did the opposite end of that strategy that it presented in the latter, that it was they focused on the influencer marketing campaign but didn't focus on making a clippable game that people are going to do for their own clippable channels and make their own money, because ideally you pay the influencers pay it on stream, you get more money, you get more purchases. And in the traditional capitalist sense, that is the more reasonable choice. But realistically, the guys making money off of you are the people that are going to bring the money to the platform. There's a variety of industries I could compare that to. Hell, you could use restaurants. Hell, you could use... That's why TikTok took over Instagram. Fuck, you could use products on Amazon as an example, right? You take it, it's called having a loss leader, right? You have a loss leader. Yeah, sure, these guys are making a bunch of videos about your content, about your video game, and they're making more money than you, possibly, in some cases. But those guys making more money than you are going to bring in more people to your business. Not sustainable unless it's genuinely a good game. No, it's all good. True. They might be able to make a quick buck using influencer outreach, but it's not sustainable unless it's genuinely a good game. Yeah, I agree. And that's why you see things sustain. Like that's what was the other one that I was looking at today? I just saw like fucking PUBG is back up to like 50,000 active players or something. And I saw a couple articles about that and a YouTube video. I saw the YouTube video and I went to validate after. And it's like, yeah, because it's so basic. It's not exactly what I just pitched about the other companies don't doing any of the other stuff. Yeah, Tarkov. You don't see anyone covering Tarkov. Fortnite is fun, but it's so focused on the seasonality of which cool. Are you going to get the Goku skin if you play? Are you going to get the Miku skin if you play? Are you going to get like, oh, you got to play this season so you can get this skin, versus PUBG just keeps trudging along with a product that is reliable. Fortnite making dollars off of kids running microtransactions. Yeah, for real. Same, like another, talking gaming industry, we're heavy in gaming chat, I would say Rust. Rust is another example of that. It's a grindy game, and it does have entertaining clips. It does have entertaining YouTubers. But Rust just kept with their product, you get the one-time purchase, and it's an addictive gameplay cycle. It does take people who have no life to play it. But the fact that other people are willing to make content off of it, the other people are willing to generate your own customer base for you, it's able to sustain for a much longer lifespan than just having the hypest thing out. It's a headline that they netted $20 billion, and that's without having any upfront fees. That I wouldn't be too surprised at. They made a bloody killing off of those seasonal skins, for sure. Addictive gameplay loops, for sure. Rust is one of those games you can be entertained by watching without actually playing, and that keeps the game alive. Hell, I would say that's even... I was bringing up the restaurant industry and everything else, but I would say that's even why Steam has been able to live for so long when you have Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus and everything else. Because if you prioritize the ownership and you prioritize a longevity perspective, where it's not just about the hypest new game that you have to come to the Epic Game Store to buy. Arguably, Epic's games fuck themselves because they offer too much free shit, but that's a whole different debate. Even as someone who's anti-capitalist, it's still, you got to charge some money so you make sure you get your retained player base. Because I was reading a bunch of articles last week that whenever a free game comes out on Epic Games Pass, that they do those weekly drops where you get a free game, it actually sells more on Steam because people want it in their Steam library. So the longevity of creating a platform with a long-term perspective that is committed to its user base, it may not bring you in the billions of dollars, might not bring you in that $20 billion right away, but Steam makes money off of all of the games uploaded there versus... you saw the headline saying they netted up to $20 billion on Fortnite. Epic isn't getting much of that money, right? That's going to Tencent. That's going to so many different transactional fees. Versus then Steam has just been chilling, rolling in a predictable income that is way better for investors, and that is way better for maintaining your employees, and that is way better for being able to develop your own products in the future. But hey, don't get me ranting. The one rant that I always... The CSGO skins and the Steam marketplace, oh my god, everyone neglects that. We talk about what NFTs were, that Steam started it. Steam already had an NFT marketplace, and it's still alive and functional. NFTs, where are they? You know what I mean? That makes perfect sense, though. As an example for Steam, they removed the original GTA Trilogy games and replaced them with the remaster, but I still have the originals in my library from purchasing them so long ago. Exactly. You get to retain the original copies. You actually have the ownership of the product. NFTs are dead, but the cosmetics, at least you can show them off in game. Yeah. And it's a marketplace with a reliable structure to it. Like the dollars you put into the cosmetics, the dollars that you put into that knife that you got from CSGO. Yeah, the knife from CSGO may devalue, but the dollars that you spent are still dollars. They're not, you didn't put it into some Solana that then, oh shit, the fucking NFT went down and now it's Solana's also down and now the money that I put into it isn't real money anymore. Which is the bigger scam of both. That's been my larger frustration with so many factors. Like when you have to put your own money into tokens. When you have to put your own money, like when you have to invest money into something to buy a currency that they accrue the value of, it's insane. So like it happens a lot for like multi-level marketing, but especially in our microtransaction era, like V-Bucks, right? V-Bucks on Fortnite, as you're saying. If I have to buy V-Bucks, I'm basically like giving you my money for you to decide what my money is worth. It's absurd. It's worse than like at least crypto, even meme coins. At least meme coins are more stabilized than that. It's a digital in-game currency, yeah. Because essentially they just stole the exact same model that MLMs used to use, because that's what MLMs used to use, right? Yeah, you give us $200 a month to get your membership, and you sell this amount of product, and then you get this amount of credits, and then with this amount of credits, you can order more product, or if you add more people to your downline, and I don't know if you kept up with the WEF forum, but the CEO of BlackRock mentioned they want to tokenize every real-world asset, and then the Epstein files. You see that he was in contact with the CEO of Activision to figure out the best way to tokenize all of their assets. It's like, oh my God, when you've got fucking that man's he's heavy into Bitcoin. At least Bitcoin and those other ones are decentralized. But even then, that decentralized argument is a whole creepy thing. It's a tough thing to go into, because I'm also not a crypto expert. So I'm trying to not act like I'm the purveyor of truth here. But it is, yeah, Bitcoin is decentralized. But how much Bitcoin does the American government and the CIA own? Yeah, no one owns all of it. How much does France own? How much does Putin own? You know. Yeah, there you go. Exactly as emphasis. Depends on what you consider decentralized. Yeah. Yeah, sure they don't control the flow of it, but how much does Netanyahu own of Bitcoin? That's maybe take a look at that. And you see even we got into this whole conspiracy lane. Big conspiracy lane. The specific individual we're discussing right now, he also owned Fortnite accounts with V-Bucks in it. It's almost like you can make transactions in these non-regulated currencies with an account that has all of the most rare skins on Fortnite, and then you can sell that on eBay for $5,000. And that wasn't a bribe. You just gave your buddy a Fortnite account. Funny, because it's not a regulated currency. Yeah. It's a gift because it's a video game. It's not real money. It's a gift. The sad part about all that news is it's like, with our current political system, it is intensely difficult to persecute. That is why a lot of the stuff I've been watching and reading, that is why a lot of the files on this gentleman was released the way it was and in such mass, because it proves the conspiracy theory, but it still contributes to the public relations delirium of the masses, because all of the people associated with him, they didn't technically commit any crimes. Yeah, Bill Gates was caught, emailing him about STD medication, but Bill Gates isn't going to go to jail for it. Yeah. So it came out when it did, how it did, because no one's going to have any repercussions. And now with the social media era, we're going to be so caught up in talking about the fact that they eat babies that nothing's actually going to happen, because we're talking about them eating babies. We're not talking about the fact that he's influencing, that the U.S. government was infiltrated by different spy agencies, which were proven in the emails. We're talking about the eating babies part. Oh, yeah. Totally. What was it? One of his other financial managers? The only other guy who got convicted? The only other guy who got convicted of crimes with him and Ghislaine may have passed away while in prison. It's tough, and that's the larger thing. It's just like, yeah, they want to tokenize us. They want to make us numb, and I think that's the bigger thing. That's the scary part of all of this. I think it was released the way it was and the way it did, so that it was like all the conspiracy theorists then go, I knew this all along, I'm fucking numb to it all. And then B, the normies are so focused on the sick parts of it as well, that since the normies are focused on the sick part of it, they're not talking about the fact that, there was all of our government elites were rigging the economy from the start. And that's the dark part of that discussion. Right? If you put the Satanism in there, put the Baal worship, put all the fucking dark worship in there. Because then they're going to be distracted. The masses are going to be distracted talking about this. They're going to be distracted talking about Woody Allen. They're not going to talk about the fact that the Prime Minister of Israel was meeting with them to discuss their takeover of Palestine. Or that there were emails about them talking about how destabilizing Libya and dethroning Gaddafi was going to make a lot of money for the Americans. But no, let's focus on his child pedophilia ring, which is equally as bad, but yeah. Under the guise of regime change and anti-corruption. Well, the same as World War II. You make money off of selling arms to both sides. Selling to both sides makes you way more money. But this is supposed to be an auction stream, not a Bailey's Political Opinions podcast. We're in a tricky time. That's, I guess one you'd be interested in. It's okay. One you'd be interested in was exactly on a similar talk, because my family's from Alberta, and Alberta's getting into they did another vote for the separatist conversation, right? Alberta just voted again to be separatists of Canada. And it's like, it's not going to happen, because the same deep, dark talk we were just having, it's bad for fucking money. It's bad for money. Both sides. You could be a conservative millionaire or conservative liberal. It's bad for both y'all's money. And then I was having this debate with my family. I'm like, even if you were to get someone with negative interests who is like, here, I'll fund you some Alberta right-wing group to take up arms or to escalate the scenario to a violent scenario. You know what? The U.S. government doesn't want that, because then the Baptist Texans, the people in Texas, the Texans who already have 1 million guns, are going to be like, oh, we could just do the same thing. So there's all these people that are riled up in Alberta, like, oh, well, if we don't do it, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It's like, no, you aren't. And no, you aren't. And even if you were, you're going to be stopped before you do, because it affects way too many people if you do. The one through line of this is they want you to accept everything that they're saying. And the Americans also don't want the people. The biggest strength of the modern era in politics is they don't want you to realize that you can fight back. Yeah. Because that was the full circle. That's arguably one of my deep dives lately has been the intriguing case of the Ukrainian war. The war in Ukraine is super intriguing because it's become another meat grinder. Everyone thought that we're going to end up in this technological era that once you have drones, it's going to be like fast and hyper violent and quick, but it's actually the exact opposite. It's gone back to square one because technology is so accessible and so affordable. Both sides have it, right? If both sides have drones with night vision on them and heat vision, then even if I'm a Russian deployment and I know that there's a dug-in bunker of Ukrainians, if I choose to send a drone in or artillery strike and blow up that bunker, then I won't have the safety of that position either. Like if I end up then, if I was trying to advance the front lines, you end up in this bloody stalemate where you can only move like half a kilometer to a kilometer at a time because the same dugouts that your enemy is using, you need to also defend yourself from heat vision and IR, because otherwise a tank, Stinger missile, even a right-placed drone can take out a tank. And jammers, don't matter. We got fiber optic cables. That's where it gets so trippy. Like that's part of the destabilization of our modern era, of them forcing us all to be even further sheeple and be even further in the rabbit hole of not being able to understand that we can rebel, is because they didn't expect, no one expected modern warfare to be on such a level playing field. Yeah, there's a lot of robotics. Yeah, tech is extremely advanced. Yeah, satellite imagery can provide a lot of shit, but at the end of the day, landscape and manpower is still what it comes down to, and it's not what anyone expected. And it's so intriguing when you like dig your teeth into that topic, but I digress. Now I'm gonna get my YouTube channel banned from talking about this shit probably. Yeah, because unless we get to the point that there's literal automatons, like air drones and all that shit, you need full automatons or else it's not going to change. And that's not, automatons too expensive, at least in the next 30 years. You need full-on walking robots to take the place of infantry. And that's what everyone, they all neglected it. Exactly. That's why they, yeah, I could ramble. The Ukrainian war is all just a big, that was the exact what you said, weaken the population by controlling their behaviors and mindsets. Ukraine is actually surprisingly a very diverse nation. There's a lot of different like religious beliefs and denominations of folks. It's actually quite diverse in terms of white folks in the past and what leads up to now. So it's a great case study for this, because they thought they could weaken the population by controlling their behaviors and mindsets, and they did not expect that people would unite on such a calculated and supportive front based on their fact of not wanting to be controlled. So that's part of the reason this has become such a mind slog. Last rant, I'll go on. On that same note, Singapore is still the globe's third strongest port. We got a lot of talk about Taiwan. We got a lot of talk about what's going on around the globe. We got a lot of talk about potential struggles with other superpowers. Yeah, Taiwan about to be annexed. We got Ukraine trying to be takeover. There's a reason that no one's talking about Singapore, because it's the same thing that I just pointed out about the Ukraine. Singapore is made of Muslims, Christians, non-denominational folks, white folks, people from India, people from China, people from all over the globe, of all different. Then they all, you know what? You want a reason to not piss off the West? Because they all speak the good old English. So you start a war with, you want Singapore, you want the third strongest port in the world. All those people, you can't control all those people. So you try to annex Singapore, the Christians rile up, or the Muslims rile up. So it depends. You can't send in any one country. You can't send in Saudi Arabia. You can't send in China. You can't send in the US. You can't send in Russia. Because the other half of the population is going to fight against you. But there's a reason it's not in the news. Because China and America doesn't want you to fucking remember that they have just as much economic power as they do when it comes to international trade routes. They control the South Pacific as well as they're the last major port headed into the Suez Canal. Yeah. It's a multinational nation with multiple religions, with people of all colors and creeds. They speak English, and they're capitalist. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck starting a war against them and drumming up PR against them. On the last, yeah. I keep saying the last, but it seems like we're seeing the last moves of the American empire before something else rises up. I think it's already China is rising up as the next superpower. I would see an American civil war before anything. But the whole thing is it's a fucking powder keg, which is tough. An American civil war wouldn't be what it looked like before. An American civil war would be like Texas tries to separate, but then Texas breaks up into religious cults as well as freedom cults. And then all of a sudden, Northern California, who's highly conservative, then also tries to separate, and bam, 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 bam. But again, why I bring it full circle to why the separatist movement won't happen in Canada, because of the same. Once either of our sides, as both North American countries, was either of our sides, he's like, oh, we can do that? It all falls apart, because it's like mutually assured destruction civilly. As soon as Texas revolts, Quebec is going to revolt. And then the Albertans are going to say, no, I want out of here. Yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, all our countries are split in two. And then when it comes to the Canadian economy, ours is much more fragile. Ours really requires a unanimous opinion through the middle, like through Manitoba and Saskatchewan. Because when it comes to physical logistics, if we can't move goods from Ontario to Vancouver, we're fucked. We're fucked. Vancouver is one of the strongest ports in our nation, but if I can't get products from Montreal to Vancouver, or more importantly from Halifax, that's why the Arctic seas opening up are such a big point. Fact bad. The Arctic seas opening up is a big point because it's very beneficial for us. Because if we can send our ships and we can send shipping routes across the Arctic to the other side of our coast, it's a fuck of a lot cheaper, it's a fuck of a lot quicker, it's a fuck of a lot more affordable than going through the Panama Canal. Alaska is still controlled by the USA too. People tend to overlook how dangerous that is for Canada. Kinda. I'm like 50-50 on it. It's if we got into a trade war, then exactly what I just outlined. If we were trying to use the shipping routes through the Arctic, that would be our biggest issue. We'd have to go through their waters. So if we got into any sort of actual trade conflict with them, we wouldn't be able to use the waters. But when it comes down to it, they're so far north. If they got attacked, it is what it is. But I mean, hey. Hi, you played Fallout? Probably watched the Fallout show. I'm sure you're aware. All of Fallout is about the Alaskan War. That's like the contingent of it. That the last war before the nuclear apocalypse was in Alaska. I'm going to stop saying last one, but I do need to get out of here. But at the same time, if I had to guess, you want to say the last one, last big war will either happen possibly over Greenland. I doubt it, though. If I had to gamble, you want to go in a conspiracy rabbit hole, look at when the mineral rights for Antarctica, when the Geneva Convention that was made, it's not the Geneva Convention, I'm using the wrong term, but the military agreement that was made for the division of land of Antarctica was made just after World War II. And all of the minerals that we make our smartphones and our tech and all of our high-end stuff are both in Greenland and they're in Antarctica, under the ice. And Greenland has the whole complications that has going on now, but the untapped issue that people are not educated on is when that treaty is up in Antarctica, and that's going to happen in our lifetime. I think it's like 2035 or something like that, when the Antarctica Treaty of how the United Nations agrees to divvy up the land. That shit is going to go crazy, let alone all the other conspiracy theories about monsters and aliens and everything. The mineral rights of that land, of like untouched land with all of the rare earth minerals that we need for our modern tech. Get ready, bro. So it's why you see all of the modern nations running Arctic drills. Everyone's prepared to fight in the Arctic now. I wonder why. But the Antarctica is about to go crazy. It's in our lifetime. It's going to be a while. Won't blow up. I don't think it will cause a world war, but it's going to cause some crazy shit happening. Because Brazil's quite strong. It's close to the South American border. Who knows what Brazil does to Chile to be able to get there. You got Australia right next door to it. You got South Africa, who gold is at 7,000 grams USD. Johannesburg of South Africa sits on the world's largest deposit of gold. And guess what? They're also the closest to Antarctica. I'm not spitting facts. I'm just spitting some things that I know. You know, it's all just a quinky dink. It's all just a quinky dink. I wonder why all these things are going up in price at the same time. It's just a coincidence. Yeah, I got the whiteboard with the pins on it. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm just pinning some dots to a board. But so look up the Antarctica shit when the treaty's up, and that's always a fun fact, funny one of like looking up Johannesburg and South Africa and why all of the colonialist nations were so interested in taking over South Africa over all of the other countries, because the world's largest known gold deposit is literally underneath the city of Johannesburg. And what's the whitest nation and whitest city in that country? Which one did apartheid again? But I digress. Okay, I'm gonna get myself canceled out here if I don't stop soon enough. I'm not gonna be allowed to stream on YouTube anymore. I already talked about the big bad Jeff and everything. Thanks for the education session. Hey, just because I've been a sad boy and have had hard times in life doesn't mean that I'm still not in the fucking loop about how the world works. And coincidentally, one of my monitors, as soon as I started yapping about this shit, one of my monitors just decided he's going to stop working. So it's a hilarious combo. Oh my God. Yeah, no problem for the education session, dog. Shout out to any of the auction buyers who are interested in any of these topics. I hope you enjoyed. It's also way too late for me to do any of the promos because hopefully y'all left. Ain't none of you watching anymore, eh? 2 watching? Okay, we're good. I don't even have to do the outro then. Yeah, we'll be in touch, fam. I've still got some of the items. You got lucky. We almost... I picked your items out barely. Patty was about to get rid of them, so I've still got the stuff you bought from the last auction And we'll set up a hang session, or we'll just pressure Afro to do another arcade. All right? Thanks for dropping in, Nymph. Yeah, appreciate you big time, man. I'm going to be getting back to everyone, so if you want to start sending me messages, I know you got some memes that I got a backlog to. It's literally probably I'm going to stay up quite late tonight just fucking answering IG messages and shit. So shout out to you. Shout out to everyone. Thank you, man. Yeah. Again, just for the general internet and also for you, it was just I had the bad double whammy. Like, I had the grandma loss. I did the healthy thing. I was like, you know what? I will take 2 weeks off. Let's do the healthy thing so I'm emotionally okay. It's also why I'm okay talking about it. And then I got the fucking flu. I got the worst fever I've ever had in my life. So I was like, let me take 2 weeks off. And it's like, oh, I can't fucking do anything for a week and a half now. I took damn near a whole month off, and it was not intentional. And the flu, I've never had a fever that bad. I couldn't think straight. But I digress. I'm out of here. I appreciate y'all. I ramble. If you are auction interested buyer, I hope you enjoyed those conspiracy rants. I hope you educated yourself a little bit. And again, everything I say is alleged. Everything I say is just like some tidbits. You know, it's just do your own research, and it's all allegedly. If you found some of these things interesting, maybe look into it on your own. But it's up to you. It's just a lot of it takes a lot of historical context, because you forget that a lot of the people in power nowadays generated their power through a couple tumultuous situations in the past 100 years. Regardless, the American Empire is over 200 years old, and you know what? Germany's younger than Canada and has already become a superpower 3 times over, and now they're in charge of NATO, but let's not talk about that. All right, okay. I hope you have a wonderful night. I appreciate y'all, and see you again soon. Shout to Imp. Have a great evening. All right? Bye.